And when He-Man went away, they actually brought out another line of He-Man, which I didn't even know existed until I seen it in the store one day, and it was horrible. I looked at the packaging, and I'm like, is this supposed to be He-Man? I think it was like He-Man in space. It didn't look nothing like the He-Man. It was a terrible, terrible idea. Probably lasted like a week, and it was gone. And then many, many years later, they rebooted the series into something that I thought was great. So here is the reboot that they came out with He-Man. Now, obviously, they were trying to do something much different. He's much like skinnier, and he has sort of the weird, like almost anime look to him. And I always loved it. I thought they did a great job with him. And you can see his sword is completely bent all everywhere. Because these guys have been sitting in the boxes, like I said. And he actually came out with, they were trying to do a tribute to the original He-Man, but change it because he has this huge shield here now. And obviously, he's not as buff as the original He-Man. I mean, he's pretty buff, don't get me wrong. But he's nothing like what the original He-Man was. I mean, this is his battle axe. I mean, check that thing out. It's impressive. It has lots and lots more detail. But as a reboot, I like this. I thought they did a really good job with the sculpts, and thought they did a great job with everything. I mean, even though he has a fanny pack for some reason. And the animated show that was with this was outstanding. It was an outstanding show. What they really knocked out of the park here was Skeletor. I mean, this is as creepy and as cool as a Skeletor as we ever have gotten from He-Man, like ever. And now what we get here is Prince Adam. And now this should have been what the original He-Man was, because, obviously this looks nothing like He-Man. This is a totally different looking guy. He's not as buff or as ripped as He-Man is. And he has this really cool looking sword he's holding here. And again, the face sculpt on him is really nice, and the hair and everything. I pretty much bought a lot of these, as you're about to see. Not sure who this guy is. He is some kind of lizard guy. I don't even know if he was in the original series, but I love the look of him. I thought that they did a awesome job with his sculpt. As you can see, all the scales, and I love his face. Just the expression on his face is so cool. And he has another button here, so what does he do here? Oh, his tail. He does have a tail. You push the button, his tail goes back and forth. You knock somebody over with his tail. Again, I don't know if this guy was in the original series. He may have been, but I just love the sculpt of him, so I picked him up. Here is the new, updated version of... I was calling him Mecha Neck. I still don't know what his name is. But instead of the original one, they had like the glass... the glass goggles. He actually has a hole here. I don't know why. You can see through the back of his head, and I don't know what the point of that is. I guess, I don't know. But he has like clear goggles on here. But his armor is almost kind of the same that they had, but the sculpting obviously is so much better on him. And check out this bat. I mean, he's ready just to hit a home run with that thing. I mean he's ready to go get on the plate and just hit it. Unlike, the original one, obviously, this guy's neck is super well detailed. And again, just such a weird figure, that his neck grows. But check out the back, the details here on the back of the neck is super nice. So, yeah, the updated version of him was fantastic. This is one of my favorite updates is, of course, Man-at-Arms here. And he has like this gigantic club. Check out that club. Just the details on that thing is awesome. The details all over this guy is super cool. Check out that. I mean, come on. Look at that shoulder pad that he has. I mean, that's crazy. Super huge shoulder pad that he has on. And his back has just all this crazy detail. And he has a button here. Let me see. Oh, he's hit people too. He's smacking people with his button. And his armor actually goes up over his face on this one to protect his face. And he does have a great face, even though you can't really see it with all that armor on. But he has this great chin and great mustache that's kind of hidden back there. Such fantastic sculpt to his face. And his helmet is, looks sort of like the original one. But he has details all over him. Like one foot is all armored, while the other one here is just, just a regular boot. So yeah, he's one of my absolute favorites in the reboot series here of He-Man. Now we get to the reboot version of Triclops, and he does have a hole here on the top of his head. So you hold him by a lamp, and you can see his eyes actually glow here. And this is the green eye, and you turn it around, and he has the red eye right there. Then he has the blue eye, and pretty cool update on him too. I like the pipes coming out of his chest for whatever reason. They're going around his neck. And they all have action. You know, he can swing a sword. He has a button here to swing a sword. And I like his loincloth. It's like, you know, sort of just like squares with, I guess, metal on there. But if you look at this guy, just the details, they have details all over these figures. And again, when they were doing these reboots, they were really trying to get this He-Man, you know, back on track again. And, you know, I think they captured, look at his sword. His sword's kind of bent a little bit. Come on now. You got to straighten your sword out. Come on now. You can't find anybody with a bent sword like that. They were really trying to get back on track with these figures. Here's Merman. And again, love the sculpt on Merman. Really, really well done. Now, this guy, I have no idea if he was in the original or not, but I just picked him up because I love the sculpt. I mean, this is so much detail. And I got all my guys, they're all over the place here. I'm trying to make room for these guys. Obviously, he's supposed to be some sort of mechanical elephant. And just look at the rivets in his legs and his arms and the detail in this guy's trunk. And for some reason, this guy has like a massive backpack, and it's heavy. It's like really, it's like, I don't know what the point of the massive backpack is, but it's huge. And it's very heavy. It's a very solid, heavy figure. His legs have no movement in there. His arms move. Well, no, his arms don't even move. Wow, it doesn't have any movement at all in this figure. What is the deal? He's just like a statue, I guess. But it's such a cool figure, though. No idea who he is or his origin or anything, or if he was in the original series or they brought this guy out for just the new one or what, but wow. Now, I did not have the original one of this guy, but he is the one that you turn his knob on top of his head and he has 3 different faces. So this is sort of like the monster face. I can't remember what his name was. Manny Faces, probably. It's always something like that. But you turn his head, I think. And this, I guess, is supposed to be his original face because it kind of gives the orange that goes along with him. And he's more, I guess, more of a robot. I think he was in the original series, but I don't remember him that well. And this is the actual robot face of him. And it's just a really inventive. Again, this is the stuff that they were known for with the He-Man line. Just to, you know, be able to switch guys' faces. Get a figure, you have 3 different faces. Sort of like Triclops. You get a figure, you have 3 different eyes on the Triclops. And once again, this is one of my favorite reboots of the characters. I don't have him, the original one. I thought I had him, but I guess I don't. This is a guy who has wings, but he don't use the wings to fly. He has to have a backpack in order to fly around. And I can't think what this guy's name is. It's going to drive me crazy. He has jets. They actually put jets on the bottom of his feet because why not? Because that's cool. And he has his own controls here that he can use to fly around. Does have his wings, but they don't really, like I said, they don't really do anything. And I love his face. I think they did such a great job sculpting his face here. Actually, I do have one other female figure, and this is Teyla. And they did a good job with her, much better than the old Teyla. I think they did a great job with her hair. You can see it looks like a lot of movement going on her hair. And just much cooler outfit. It's very rubbery, but much cooler outfit, much more detail they got going on in her outfit. So I think this one actually looks better than the original. And here is Battle Armor He-Man, the new one. And unlike the original where the thing just flipped around, this actually had a button that you push the button and it made the hitting sound like ching, 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 ching when he's hitting the armor. So, cool figure. He has a very large backpack. That's where I'm assuming the battery goes. It's just been dead for who knows how long. So yeah, I picked him up. I liked because he was just shiny, I guess. I said, ooh, shiny. And here's a guy, which again, I don't remember him. I barely remember him I think he was in the original series. I'm not 100% sure, but I love the sculpt. Once again, that's why I picked him up. You know, he obviously has 2 heads and crazy amount of detail. And actually even has 2 loincloths and 2 leg and everything. It's pretty cool. I'm not looking at it. He has a green one here and a brown one here, and he has a purple leg. His purple leg here, and then, you know, a blue one over here. So, wow. And he has some kind of crazy weapon here. I don't know what this thing is. It has 2 different things coming off of it here. So, yeah. Really great sculpt. Whatever this guy is, or what he's called, I have no idea. So now, of course, besides the amazing Skeletor that they did, here is the new Trapjaw. And, yeah, I mean, everybody knew that he was one of everybody's favorites, so they went all out on this guy. And his mouth does open, just like the old one. Opens and closes. And just, again, he has way more detail, as you can see, over in his arm. And he has like a pipe coming out of this one. And I probably have the accessories somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure where they are. Everybody wants the new Trapjaw, and this is it. I mean, as you can see, there's detail all over this guy. Did an incredible job with him. And my final one here on the new line is Orko. Now, when I saw this figure, I literally just freaked out. Because like I said, I loved Orko so much, and look what they did to this guy. I mean, this is still one of my favorite figures. And I like the fact that he has like this blue stand, so he looks like he's, you know, coming up with some magic. They could have had it clear or something, but they decided to have it blue. And the sculpting here, and his wand that he's holding, and just the folds of his fabric that are coming off of his hand, his arm, and wow, I mean, just there's so much to look at on this guy. But yeah, Orko had always, you know, had ears. Now he has like these large elf-like ears, and he has a scarf there. It's actually coming up there in the back with the movement. And you know, he put the one hand out, and he's like, he's going to do a spell on you. Look out! And they actually made him look cool in this figure, and just love it. I'm so glad I was able to pick him up when they had the re-release of the figures. So many years later, they started actually selling new He-Man figures, even though they were the old He-Man figures and they were redone. Unfortunately, I was never able to get any of those. It was basically, again, redoing the He-Man figure again, but this time they actually had articulation. You could bend his elbows and you could bend his knees, and they are really great. But as soon as they went on sale, they would sell out instantly on the website. So unless you were there that minute, that's how fast they were gone, and then they would be resold for a big profit on eBay, which was a shame because, again, I was never able to get them because of that. So now we finally get to the final rendition of He-Man that's out currently, and this is, of course, from Funko, and it's Pop Television. And they just brought out quite a few of these already, and I haven't picked all of them up, but I'm going to very quickly go through the ones I do have and show them to you. Of course, this here is Battle Armor He-Man, which we already looked at, the original. If you look on the back of the box here, you see the other ones that they have. Stratos was the guy's name that I couldn't remember. Alright, so here he is out of the box. This is Battle Armor He-Man. And as you can see, he comes with the shield. It's pretty close to the original shield, actually. It looks really good. And he comes with his battle axe here, which is pretty awesome. He doesn't come with the sword of power or anything, as you can see, but the axe and the shield are actually pretty good choices. And his battle armor itself does not move. There is no mechanic to make it spin now. If they had added that, that would have been incredible, but nope, it's just a solid chest piece. Still, they did a really good job on him. I mean, it's He-Man, and his hair is a little off, I think. It's a little too orange, not blonde enough. There's a little paint, because you couldn't see this on the inside of the package, but there's paint here on the side of his head. Yeah, but his hair is, for some reason, it's just kind of off. I don't really know why they made it more orange than blonde. To remind you, this is the original He-Man. See the color of his hair compared to the Pop figure, which is, again, kind of orange. So next up is Skeletor, Battle Armor Skeletor. And this is a really cool looking figure. I think they did a great job with him, except for a few things. Is one, when I let him go, he just falls over. He-Man actually came with a stand, so I don't understand why Skeletor would not come with a stand. See, he's just falling over. There's no way to pose him where he just won't fall over. He's just gonna, you know, it's unbalanced. It's not that great of a idea, Funko, to have Skeletor with no stand. Overall, though, it's a really great sculpt. He looks fantastic, and he's battle armor Skeletor, just like He-Man was. And I love the sculpt of his armor. It's really, really cool. It's very shiny. And on the back of him, you can see that they went into great detail on all the armor back here. But then I looked at this, and look at this, there's like gigantic glue that's coming down from his head for some reason. There's nothing even up here to glue. And when I took it out of the box, it was all white. It was like, I don't understand what this is either. That's pretty terrible, Funko. It's a cool figure, don't get me wrong. It looks really awesome. I love his face and his eyes, red eyes, and the green up here that goes into the yellow. His staff is super cool, super awesome. But yeah, you can't really have a figure that doesn't stand up. Pretty dumb. Next up is Moss Man, and this is a Toys R Us exclusive because he's flocked. And this one I am not going to open, just for the fact that, you know, Toys R Us is now, of course, going out of business, and I'd rather just keep him in the box and keep him nice and safe in case he's worth $700,000 in a few months. But I doubt that, but you never know. And I usually open all my figures, but because of the rarity of this and that he's flocked and it's only at Toys R Us, he's going to stay in the box. And we are going to end our review with Orko, because why not? Now this one I actually like a lot. I think that Funko did a great job with Orko, and I like that he does actually come with a stand, and it's already on there, so you don't have to put it on there or anything. And it's a clear stand, so you know, makes it look like he's floating a little bit. And I love the gigantic yellow eyes they gave him, and his scarf, and you know, his large blue ears and everything. His hat, once again, take a look at that. It's more orange than red. I believe his hat was red in the TV series, so maybe they had some kind of weird color issues going on when they made these figures. But he does have his wand. It's bent a little bit here on the bottom, but the same wand, you know, that he had from this figure, which I just showed you. It's almost the same looking wand that he has. So, but this is a really cool figure, and I'm glad I found him and picked him up. I believe I got him at Toys R Us as well. And just did a great job. So he's definitely going to be on my display shelf with some of my other Funko figures. Skeletor, probably not, since he won't stand up. So I'm going to end this review where I started it, and that is, of course, with He-Man. Now, I hope you enjoyed this review, and it's taken me a long time, actually several days, to film all this, believe it or not. Probably the review itself is going to be ridiculously long. Hopefully I can get it edited down to a decent amount of time, but there was so much stuff to show you. And if you have stuck around to the end of this review, all I can say is just thank you so much for watching this and supporting this channel, because you know, you guys are just so awesome. And all the maniacs we have out there on our channel watching this too, you guys are just awesome. And I'm really hoping that this show is bringing you back to a lot of memories if you played with these guys like we did when we were little. And that's what, you know, the whole point of this is just a trip down memory lane to these incredible figures that they don't make anymore. They don't make these really cool imaginative figures anymore. So that's it. Thank you for watching the He-Man special here on all the figures and the history of He-Man. And up next, as in tomorrow, we have the final episode. So please return and check that out. And hopefully you will have as much fun watching that as you did this. If you had fun watching this, that is. So until next time, all your maniacs out there, thank you for watching. And you are awesome. And I will see you tomorrow here on